Yo, get in, chop.
Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Trudy LPC, and thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast. I really appreciate all the love that you guys have been pouring in, and I know that I told you guys we started the season with a lot of women, a lot of estrogen, but this part of the season, we really have more of our men coming in to really talk about men's mental health and really pouring into our men, because a lot of our audience members are men, and I really want to be able to do more for them and help them on their mental health journey. So I have a very special guest with me today. I actually met this young man on a very interesting Uber drive, and we've been connected ever since then, connected with each other on social media. And so I really, really am excited for you guys to hear about his journey. His name is Kenneth Reddick II. He is the CEO of Brunch Foundation. He is also a motivational conversationalist, and I'll let him tell you more about what that is, the difference between a motivational speaker and a motivational conversationalist. But he curates events for mental health and self-care for men. He gets the conversation going and creating a safe space for them to dive deep into their mental health and just talk with each other in a caring and loving and healing environment. So I really love what he does, really love what his organization stands for. So without further ado, let's go ahead and welcome to the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast, Mr. Kenneth Reddick II. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing today?
Hey, what up, though? How you doing?
I am doing well, man. This has been a long time coming. I know I say a long time. It's been about a year since we've been trying.
I know, like you were saying, that Uber ride. I didn't know if we wanted to go into that or go into my story, because both of them going to be interesting.
I think we want to start with your story, but that was definitely an interesting ride, for sure. But it's so great how we kind of get connected to the people that are supposed to be in our lives in the most unexpected ways. So we can talk about the Uber ride if you want to, but I really love to just get started by having you tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, as you said, I'm Kenneth Reddick II. Most people know me as Scooter. It's funny, even in my corporate world, everybody knows me by my nickname, because I'm one of the few people that, honestly, no matter where I am, I bring my true, authentic self. That's one of the things that, even with myself being a motivational conversationalist, I'm different from everyone else. I don't get people together to have a conference to get a round of applause so that, I can feel good. People take a few notes and they forget about them possibly, which conferences are great for some. But my purpose is to motivate people through conversation. As you said, I have events, bowling events, monthly events, hike and healing, fish and fellowship. But one of the things that's interesting to talk about the Uber ride, I now call my Uber rides a Uber ministry.
Oh, wow.
Because I truly realized, as you said, it's amazing how you meet people. And, once you find your purpose, those people that you meet, it's not by chance that happen. It's all a part of your purpose. Mm-hmm. And I truly realized that, even us meeting him, just being honest, I had to cancel one time and it kind of threw things off. But hey, here we are back here together. So everything is divine. As I tell people, my purpose is my peace. And I've truly found my purpose through helping men in this space. I also am a NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness, peer leader in Douglas County. So I not only help the man, I actually help the community. And as a part of my organization, I adopted a road over here. We have our first cleanup this weekend. So we're very active with not just making a difference with the men, but making a difference in the community as well. And I'm excited. The men have been excited, and just the relationships, just like ours, has been able to develop through such a journey that I've had in life that has turned into a testimony.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing. I love this Uber ministry thing because I know me. I remember that Uber drive very vividly because I was like in my own world, like I ain't trying to talk shop today, and y'all
Right,
just kept.
exactly.
Like I'm celebrating. I'm not trying to talk shop right now. Here we go, or whatever. But I guess that's the thing about our purpose. Our purpose is going to show up, and even if we're not trying to focus in on that, other people around us are going to kind of push that. But yeah, I love what you do. And even in the ride, even though I was like tuned out because I'm like, look. But even with that, like hearing about what you do and how you kind of got started, I'd love to know and explore a little bit more about that part of your journey because you had some challenges along the way as well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. The challenges is probably just to say the least of it. Had some mountains to get over that. Honestly, many people would not have gone through, been able to get back on the road, and that's one of the things that one of my therapists had told me one time is that I really have to think about my life and where I've been, and when it comes to my stress and well-being, actually not respond emotionally, but really think about things that I've been through and understand that no one else would have made it through, but it's my testimony to share. And that's why I'm here. 30-year alcoholic, 28 months sober now. As you can see, I get right to it, and no need to sugarcoat. 25-year pharmaceutical rep, actually executive platinum performer. And no one would have ever thought that, those 25 years that I was a functioning alcoholic, but I was. Well, some people would have, depending on where you were, under what circumstances. But to see the success that I've had, no one would have known that I was a bipolar depressed alcoholic for that time. So going through different driving challenges and different things over the years, honestly, breathalyzed on the car at one point in time. Which, like I said, a lot of people would not expect that for someone that, is of caliber of myself. But a lot of us reach a certain point and we don't want to tell our story. So finally, several suicide attempts or ideations since college. Several run-ins with different things because of alcohol being involved in my life, and the law. But fortunately, 28 months ago, went on my last binge. And I say fortunately because that was the last part of that chapter of my life. Ended up over at Ridgeview after sitting next to a homeless guy that was cussing me out. My daughter actually came and picked me up and took me to Ridgeview. And when I left Ridgeview, even after having an impression on those folks and having those motivational conversations while in groups there and just seeing how people received it, I think that when I came out, the taste was removed from my mouth, and my new journey of self-healing as well as helping others mending and healing started just that 28 months ago, which for those that think about numbers, my sobriety date was 2/2/22. So, those twos are, signs of the angels, peace and adversity and change in your life. And it's just ironic. Well, it's not ironic because I don't say that anymore. It was just divine how that took place on that day. And here I am today, sharing my journey, but also helping others along with their journey as well. So that's just a little snapshot of my past. And here I am for my present. And Brothers Brunch Foundation is a strong part of my future and my success.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. 2/2/22. That's amazing. And like, all that you said, like you weren't just struggling with an alcohol addiction and being able to kind of mask that, because there are so many people out there that function. My father, who recently passed away a couple of months ago, he was very much a functional alcoholic, functional drug addict who went to work every single day, was a team leader, and very loved by so many people. And I don't know how many people out in his professional world knew the things that he struggled with, or those in the family side, we knew kind of some of the demons that he faced, but sometimes it is easy to kind of hide it. And if you're functional, a lot of times you don't feel like you need to get the help. But I'm really glad that you had your daughter there to get you to the, help that you needed over at Ridgeview. And, going through a program and then coming out, like you went to a program and you start motivating people and you haven't stopped motivating people since. And I mean, that's truly a testimony of just how great God is and just how great the universe moves sometimes on our behalf to let us go through things to get us to our purpose. And you're doing such great work with the Brothers Brunch, the foundation. And I love that. But I also like the part, you talk about the mental health piece. And, when you said therapy, I was like, okay, all right. You walking down my street.
You're on board with that.
Yes. Because so many Black men don't go to therapy. What was it like for you as a Black man saying, okay, you know what, I'm dealing with this. And I mean, I know going to Ridgeview, a lot of people go to a mental health hospital and they go through detox or whatever that process is like for them to start their recovery. But to stay connected in therapy after that, like what was that like for you, kind of being vulnerable in that space?
Well, I want to touch on two things because number one, you were talking about me motivating people and those sorts of things. And therapy is a part of this middle portion that I'll explain to you. My principles are PCP, positive, consistent, and present. Okay. I've always been a positive, motivating person. I mean, I could probably be everybody's favorite uncle, no matter what setting, that I'm in. But it's that consistency piece. And that consistency piece is where therapy, massage, those self-care activities that we have to be consistent, that keeps us present in our mind, present for ourselves, present for our families, present for the communities. And therapy was just a key part of that. When I first had a driving challenge years ago, I went to a psychiatrist, and that's when I was diagnosed bipolar depressed. People ask me, even now, do I go to AA meetings? I've been delivered from what I was going through. I went to AA when I was in trouble. Now I practice the 12 steps on a daily basis, even through my Uber industry, by sharing my testimony, carrying a message, making amends with people, all those things. I could go down the steps and tell you everything that I do. But it's that therapy part that we miss out on because that's part of our mental health, not a part of our mental illness. I want to repeat that. Therapy is a part of our mental health, not a part of our mental illness. We all must take advantage of therapy. Therapy is like having a life coach from an early age. Therapy is having someone that you can talk to when you don't have an emotional, that you don't have an emotional connection with, just so that they can honestly give you the response or the reaction that you truly need to heal. A lot of times when we have people that we think that can help us or guide us, that have an emotional connection, they may give us a hug when we just need a piece of tissue. They may give us affirmation, but still have something else to say. And all we needed was that affirmation. Therapy is more than just going to someone when you have a problem. I say therapy is therapeutic, not problematic. As a Black man, as a man, period, there is a stigma because we've been taught that you don't need that therapy or I can take care of what needs to be done. That's not true. We all have to have someone that we're connected to. We pay for therapy already. My 7-year-old is in therapy proactively. He loves to go to therapy. I'm breaking that stigma. I'm changing that intergenerational trauma of not going to therapy. I was on the panel at the Black Man Lab last month for Mental Health Month. I called out to my son and said, where is he? He said, over here. I said, where do you go on Sundays? He said, Mr. Leo. I said, who is Mr. Leo? He said, my therapist. In a room of 60 plus Black men, this little 7-year-old boy was not ashamed to say that he goes to therapy because that's his friend. That's someone he can talk to when he doesn't talk to mommy and daddy. That's someone that, that he feels free, because, he's not going to be judged. He's allowed to talk. We as parents have to, number one, take therapy. Our individuals, even if you're not parents, we have to get therapy for ourselves, but also allow our kids to have their minds to be open. We can't shut them down any longer. It's nothing wrong with the kids these days. It's that we continue to parent the same way, and we don't want our kids to have therapy. And we don't want them to have therapy half the time. Why? Because we don't want them to tell our business.
Right. And they can tell it.
So if we truly want our kids to have the best opportunity, and every parent says, I just want my child to be better off than I was, allow them to go to therapy. Because if not, you're not giving them the best opportunity that they can have. Take it from me. I practice what I preach.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. Like, you know, I've seen kids that young in therapy, but usually because there was a problem, not because it was a proactive step that their parent was taking in order to pour into their mental health and make sure that they, you know, adjust to life. Because this world is crazy these days. And so
that's their life coach, honestly.
Right.
And it's already paid for. We don't have to wait. Someone asked me a question. When do you think that your child should start therapy? When they start school. Because they need the opportunity to understand. My child told me one time that we were going to Chattanooga to go to the beach. Old school parenting, shut up, boy, stop lying. I'm going to pop you in your mouth. Don't be telling nobody that. Ain't no beaches. Siri told him there are 14 beaches in Chattanooga. Wow. Regardless if they're man-made beaches or not. Just think of how many times. And my parents, I'm privileged. I'll say, you know, I didn't go through the bad traumas, but I had good traumas because I had it so good. I didn't know how to face the real world. But, you know, I didn't have to go through the, you know, shut up or the cussing or the fussing or calling the names and all that stuff. But just think of how many parents told you to be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about, this or that or whatever. But you really did know what you were talking about. You know, and those are the things that we have truly damaged our kids more so than not by not allowing them to therapy. And that's the only thing I can say. Somebody asked me, what could my parents have done differently? And I say, my parents were the most caring parents. They've supported me up until this day and still do. My dad is my COO. So he's on board with what I'm doing. But they didn't understand. Me and my mom were joking about something yesterday, and she was like, well, you know, maybe you should have been the one that was in therapy when you were younger, but everybody should. It shouldn't be because there's something going on. You know, that's the only way we're going to break these generational curses and generational traumas is through therapy and allowing our kids. But we as adults, we as parents, we have to embrace it for ourselves. Before you go get a life coach and pay all that money, use your benefits and get you a therapist. I mean, real talk, you know?
Yeah, say that again for the people in the back, because listen, I'm over here like, should I be a life coach? Because clearly, you know, and no disrespect to life coaches, I have a lot of them on the show, but there's a difference between what they do and what we do. And, you know, I'm all for what they do, but if you haven't done that process work, and I know you said you really didn't have like trauma, someone like me who had a lot of trauma, big traumas, you know, growing up, and hell, even now, you know, like it's like one of those things. I tell people, like, I pay my therapy bill each month before I pay my mortgage a lot of times, because it is something that I cannot fathom not having or whatever, you know. And I'm at a stage in therapy now where I don't go every week. I finally got there after like 4 or 5 years. But, you know, like, I would never be like, oh, I'm done. Because
and I don't. And I don't go every week. And what I tell people is, when people say, yeah, I think I need to go back, I say, why you stopped?
Right.
You know, I mean, because what we don't think about is that mental health is physical health. And as one of my constituents always tells me is, Scooter, you got to put on your oxygen mask first. You know, and that's what we don't do. And like I said, just think, how many times do we say on a regular basis, I wish I had somebody to talk to. I really don't have nobody I feel as though I can really talk to about this. You got somebody you could talk to at least once a month through therapy about anything you want to, that may not interrupt, may not give any advice, may just say, well, it sounds like you got it going on. I mean, you need anything from me? And that's all you needed was that affirmation. Yeah. But we don't realize that we don't get that. And then we continue to struggle. But we have these resources. And when I talk about self-care, we don't understand that our physical therapy benefits even covers massage, acupuncture, chiropractor, physical therapy. I always say, anytime I'm talking about it, I have a holistic physical therapist that I go to physical therapy in a yoga studio where it's very intimate. It's not a big place. I give myself a woosah moment every week. Wow. That could be, even if it's just a manicure and pedicure. But when I'm there, that's my escape. Some people may challenge, manicure, pedicure. Is that truly self-care? It depends on what all else you're doing. You can't say that that's your only form of self-care. But if that's part of your self-care routine and you're being consistent, then that's when it's a part of it. We have to be intentional about our self-care and also intentional about our mental health. And that's where we lack the consistency, is because we don't put the intention behind it to make sure that we keep going every month, every day, every minute that we need to. Because without our mental health, I mean, what are we?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And I love the highlight on self-care. Because that's something I'm very big on. And as you were speaking, I was like, okay, now I need to step my self-care up, because I do the things. I get a massage once a month, and I, do things in terms of aromatherapy, do things like every day just to kind of ground myself and make sure that I'm okay. Exactly. But I need to be getting out and doing a little bit more than, traveling. I love traveling because it's my self-care escape. It's my escape from just life, because, it can be a lot or whatever, but I'm over here like, okay, you done created this book on self-care, this journal, but you need to tighten up. So thank you for that reminder.
Hold on. That might be a new project, a self-care journal. That might be.
Don't be trying to take my stuff now, because I got a self-care journal on the market right now. Minding my own mental health, a comprehensive guide to self-care, but I need to pull it off my desk and get back into it too.
Okay, how about you do it for the women, I do it for the men, and we both win. You know what I'm saying?
You can do it for the men, but my journal is comprehensive to all y'all. But you got it.
You got it.
But no, I'm all for what you do for men for sure. But I do want to talk a little bit more about what that looks like, because obviously you're a man, you're leading these men in a way and getting them to be collaborative in their own journey. What does all of that look like? I heard you talk about fishing and, getting it together, doing what all does the Brothers Brunch Foundation do to help men with their mental health?
Okay. So currently the Brothers Brunch Foundation actually operates in the Atlanta metro area, based out of Douglasville, as well as Jacksonville, Florida, where that's my hometown. So every month, second Tuesday, I call it Tuesday Night Talks, TNT, we do a hybrid conversation. So that way anybody can join. But we'll have men that'll be present and, men that'll be virtually. And we just have a conversation. Sometimes it's a topic. Sometimes it could just be, hey, what's on somebody's mind? I mean, we've talked from everything from porn addictions and other addictions. And I say porn addiction specifically because that's something that a lot of people don't want to talk about or don't even want to address. But I remember last year, there were probably about 3 talks back to back that porn addiction was a top topic, from mending and healing, from relationships, even with grown, grown children, and adult men, just wanting to feel that relationship relationship problem, whatever it is. We just give that safe space. When I tell you last month, we had 13 men online, 4 men present. When I tell you every man spoke, every man has something to say, because it's that safe space where everyone can connect. Once a quarter, we do an activity in the cities that we operate. 2 years straight, I've done a men's holiday relaxation with Salt Cave, Oxygen Bar, Foot Detox, Reiki, sound bath. Some men even experience the Ligum steam, which is the men's version of the Yanni steam, which was surprising. but, men wanted to really go through a pure cleanse. We've met by the lake. We've met by the river in Jacksonville. I rented out the Epicenter Bowling Alley in February for Black Men Bowl, where 25 men came together, bowled, and had brunch. Everything is free that the Brothers Brunch does. And I'll tell you, that event was from tears to testimonies. I mean, testimonies of people just getting off of a case. I mean,
Gotcha.
Could have been devastating for life, but you just feel safe enough in this space and want other men to know that, hey, they can get through, but also you're not the only one going through. So like I said, we, the spa days, the bowling, the hiking, healing, meeting at Sweetwater Park. We also collaborate with other groups. I promote for everybody that's doing activities, because Brothers Brunch is not going to be the only avenue for some men. Hey, it might not be the right fit. Some men may want more of a presentation or want to get more of a direct learning. Some men may not be able to make it on the days that I have. I mean, I go out and I hike Stone Mountain with another group of individuals. They may not be men's groups. We just have to be open to explore, connect back to nature, connect back to ourselves. But I think most importantly here, one of the things that we're doing at Brothers Brunch Foundation, we're creating our villages back in the communities. And that's what we've lost. Even this weekend, with our first Adopt a Road, I didn't put it out for men to come out. I literally put it out to the whole Douglasville community. Come out to the park, bring your kids, let your kids play while they can see people do service. Partnerships like Walmart with funding, Jason's Deli with food and those sorts of things. Even my first grant was from Greystone Power here in the area. That just goes to show me. And that first grant came within my first 90 days of official incorporation. And my 501c3 was vetted in 45 days. So when I tell people about find your purpose, you find your peace. When you find your purpose, it evolves. Some people wonder why they struggle with certain businesses and different things. Maybe it's not for you. I tell people, don't try to figure things out in your mind. That's where all that stress and all that extra mental stuff goes on. We have to sit still and listen to our spirit, because that's where we truly receive our purpose, and that's where we find our peace. One last thing around that note, with the activities, when I was on the river in Jacksonville, and I always share this because I think this was so profound. One of the men said that we have to remember happiness is external and joy is internal. We always focus on those things that we think that are going to satisfy us as happiness. What job title, what do I want to get? What do I want to have? But we lose our joy inside because we get so stressed out about trying to achieve things that may not be for us. And that's where I found my peace in what I'm doing now. I'm one of the few that's probably going to be blessed with a professional purpose that they love, because I've always loved to do what I do. Because even in my pharmaceutical job, I look at it as I go see friends and I help save lives every day. I don't look at it as selling a script, just like now, hey, I go out, I meet people, I help save lives every day in what I do. 80% of my conversations are around Brothers Brunch Foundation, or my story and my testimony, just because I'm not ashamed and I never know whose life it might save, because I know that my testimony saved mine.
Wow. You have one hell of a testimony for sure. And I really appreciate you sharing and being so open and vulnerable. So I'm going to ask you the question of the hour and dive a little bit deeper. You've kind of been open, so I don't know what you're going to say with this one, but I do want to know, how do you personally connect with the idea of being self-aware and fucked up?
Look here. I think it's that self-aware part. That's what we have to come to, is that part of acceptance. I had to accept how my life was, even though I was at this level that so many people looked up to. I still wasn't that person that I was supposed to be. I was real effed up. I mean, if I think about all the money I spent in the strip clubs, hypomanic, All the times that I prayed that I could make it home, all the times that I didn't know how I made it home from college to 28 months ago. It's one of those things where I think that once we come to that point, that we can realize how effed up we really are and not be hard on ourselves, but do the work to get better and do better, not for anybody else, but for me. Then that's when that self-awareness takes your life to a whole nother level. And I'm just glad I realized I was effed up and didn't stay there.
I'm definitely here for that because Lord knows I'm a work in progress. I always tell people
we all are. We all are. And that's the thing. We have to continue. That's that consistency piece. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why that consistency piece is in the middle of that PCP.
Yeah.
Because without that consistency, we're not going to be present. And we want to definitely be present for ourselves, and those that we love. We have to realize my biggest testimony and achievement, and I get a little choked up sometimes, is that my parents can finally sleep at night after 30 years of always wondering if their son was going to be okay. I remember there used to be a point where I wouldn't even tell my mom and them, I love you, before I get off the phone, because they would think sometimes if I said I love you, that I meant that they might get a collect call at some point in time later on that morning or that night. Yeah. So, I mean, I can identify with being effed up and I can honestly say it. But the question is, how many of us are? And are we willing to make the progress and do the work to save ourselves, but also put lives back on people like our parents and those that love us that truly suffer? But until we decide to do it for ourselves and for those that have loved ones that do struggle and that do suffer, you can't allow yourself to, you still got to put your oxygen mask on first.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing you can do to help someone like me, but let them know that you're here and let them know that you will help them out along the way. Because you don't understand my story. You don't understand my journey. And a lot of times loved ones try to help, but it's maybe more of a trigger than actually helping them because they don't understand. My parents didn't understand an alcoholic. My parents didn't understand a person that deals with bipolar depressed. They loved on me. They cared for me. But those times when they might say, Scooter, you should have Scooter, this, that, those things are more of a trigger. So this message is not just as much for those that have suffered and they go through and are effed up, but those that have to deal with folks like me that just don't understand, what they can do. There's not much you can do, but just let them know you're there because it's going to take that person to be self-aware and realize they effed up to change.
Yeah. You said a lot just then. And it, you talk about getting choked up, but it really did something to me hearing you say that because, your story is very similar to my dad's story. And it's still very fresh, obviously. But
I was sorry to hear about your father too, because I could just imagine my kids. I mean, my daughter was 24, when she came and picked me up from where I was and took me. So she's gone through life of turbulent relationships and daddy not getting up, those sorts of things, seeing daddy passed out. So, I can, empathize with you on that because my daughter had to go through that. I'm just glad that, she has the opportunity now to say that, Daddy, I'm proud of you. And she was there for I had one family member to my 2-year sobriety anniversary.
Yeah.
And that was my daughter. And that just meant the most to me because she was the one that took me to get the help. And she was there to celebrate my success. I know we both getting a little choked up. My bad.
I mean, no, you're good. No, you're good. It's again, this podcast is all about just being honest and being authentic, and whatever comes up, comes up. So but it definitely got emotional for me because I just, I I wish I could have got my dad to get help. And, so when you speaking to the people that could have, that have family members, it's hard to watch a family member when you can't do anything to fix it. And then you ultimately end up losing them. So yeah, that was just a lot to kind of process or whatever, because the stories are different, obviously, but just the similarities of the addiction and alcohol use. And yeah, so I'm glad your daughter has the opportunity to see you now, to see you thriving and in helping so many other people. But so I really do appreciate you. And I so appreciate your authenticity and your time. But before we get out of here, Kenneth, I do want to have you share with the audience, how can they connect with you if they want to get involved, if they want to come to some of your events that you curate and, do your thing with. So.
Okay. All right. As always, IG is Brothers Brunch Foundation Inc. Facebook is Brothers Brunch Foundation Inc. I have my website, www.brothersbrunchfoundation.com. I mean, you can go to Eventbrite, you can go to YouTube. Everything is just, I keep it straightforward. Brothers Brunch Foundation or Brothers Brunch Foundation Inc. It'll pop right up. I'm somewhere everywhere. You never know. You might run into me just like we did, Trey. You know what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, no matter who you are, yes, I focus on men, specifically Black men and the stigma. But like I said, because I'm a part of NAMI and because I'm just a mental health advocate, anybody that needs to reach out. I mean, I've helped young ladies out. I had somebody that was supposed to graduate from recovery yesterday, but they canceled the program. I met them in Uber and I was going to go to their recovery graduation just to show support. We have to, even though we're specific with the purpose, we can't just limit ourselves there. Yeah. So when it comes to Brothers Brunch Foundation, hey, if you need me, find me, I'm here. And Tree, to you too, because we have been on a similar journey, even on different places. I want you to know I'm here for you too. Because a lot of times we get on some of these things, interviews, and, we got the person that's supposed to be leading and the person that's supposed to be strong. But what people have to realize is that the therapists need us too. My right-hand man now is a therapist that, we talk every day, but we met through the brotherhood on somebody else's call. So, and if you don't reach out to Brothers Brunch Foundation people, reach out to somebody. Just do the work for yourself. It's worth it. I mean, life is so, I'm going to say one more time. My purpose is my peace. When you find your purpose, you find your peace. Nothing that is not aligned with your purpose can disrupt you at that point. When you truly find your purpose, I say that it may disrupt you for the moment, but it won't disrupt your peace. And it's a beautiful feeling. So let's connect if you need to.
Awesome, Kenneth. I appreciate your support for me. Definitely appreciate your time today because, the things that you shared were so amazing. And I really, really love the work that you are doing and that I know that you will continue to do. So you guys, please make sure that you connect with Kenneth. All the information of how you can connect with him will be in the description of this episode. Also, be sure to follow me, Tree the LPC, on all social media platforms under the handle Tree the LPC. Until next time, be safe, be well, and make sure that you take care of your mental health.